An 82-year-old man poured yesterday's coffee grounds on a muddy patch next to a creek bank. 40 seconds later, 115 worms surfaced. No shovel. No bait shop. No $15 tub of night crawlers sitting in a cooler since Tuesday. Just spent grounds that were heading for the trash. Comment right now which city you're watching from. I want to know where this is reaching. He's been doing this since 1987. Same Tennessee Creek. Same zero-cost method. Same results. In under 5 minutes, he pulls more live bait than most guys get from an hour of hard digging. And he's never paid a single cent for it. Not once. But here's what nobody standing in the bait aisle ever tells you. This isn't a coincidence, and it isn't a trick. There's a real reason worms react to coffee grounds the way they do. And the story of where this knowledge actually comes from goes back a lot further than one old man on one creek in Tennessee. Walk back to the early 1900s. Rural Appalachia, eastern Kentucky, western Virginia, the mountain towns of East Tennessee. Families out there didn't waste anything. Coffee was rationed, reused, stretched as far as it could go. And when the grounds were finally spent, they went to the garden patch, the compost pile, or the fishing spot down by the stream. The people who fished every single day, not for sport, for food, noticed something fast. Wherever grounds landed on damp ground, worms followed. Not a few, a lot. There's a story still passed down through a family in Sevierville, Tennessee. A grandfather who carried a small cloth pouch of dried coffee grounds to the river every morning before anything else. Before picking his spot, before even threading his hook, he'd sprinkle a handful around the damp rocks at the water's edge. By the time his pole was set up, the ground was already moving. His son kept doing it. His grandson still does it today. Same practice showed up down in Louisiana Bayou country. No connection to Appalachia. Completely different culture. Completely different fish. Catfish guides who actually lived off what the water gave them knew that a spread of grounds along the bank brought night crawlers up in minutes. They didn't know why. They didn't need to. It worked. And it got passed down. Picture it. The old man reaches into a worn paper bag, pinches a small pile of grounds between 2 fingers, presses them gently around the base of a wet log near the water. Doesn't say a word. Just waits. That one quiet, wordless move has more history behind it than anything sitting on the shelf at Bass Pro Shops. And here's the part most people completely skip over. This doesn't just gather worms faster. Used right near the water's edge, it changes how fish feed in the area. The mechanism behind that took researchers a while to pin down. But before I get into that, most guys drop $8 to $15 on a tub of night crawlers half dead from a gas station cooler before every single trip. The full guide to sourcing your own live bait the old-timer way and actually using it right on the water is in the pinned first comment. Go check it out. Now, what's actually happening underground when coffee grounds hit damp soil? Because once you understand this, you'll never think about your morning brew the same way again. Coffee grounds are loaded with nitrogen, potassium, and magnesium. As they break down, they release organic compounds that earthworms are biologically drawn to. But the real trigger isn't nutrition, it's pH. Earthworms are most active in soil, with a pH between 6.0 and 7.0. Fresh coffee grounds sit right at 6.5. Spread them on wet ground, and you create a microenvironment that their chemoreceptors, sensory cells running the length of their skin, detect immediately. It's not that worms like coffee. Their biology reads that pH shift as a direct feeding signal. They move toward it the same way a largemouth bass moves toward vibration in the water. Pure instinct. No decision involved. Researchers at the University of Georgia studying soil health found that plots treated with coffee grounds had measurably higher earthworm density compared to untreated control plots. No fertilizer, no special soil amendments, just grounds. The Great Lakes region showed the same pattern. Community gardens in Milwaukee, Chicago, and Cleveland, where people started using grounds as compost, watched their worm populations double in weeks. Two completely different environments. Same result. $0. So, if this is documented, if it's been working for over a century across half the country, why does every bait shop in America act like it doesn't exist? Here's the business answer. You can't sell a pH reaction. A 2-ounce tub of nightcrawlers at any national chain runs $5 to $8. Synthetic worm attractant spray? Another $12. A home worm farm kit? $40 to $60, easy. All of it monetized. All of it on the shelf, positioned, marketed, and marked up. Coffee grounds cost exactly $0. You already made the coffee. The grounds were going in the trash. There is no margin to protect, no patent to file, no product to put a logo on. You cannot build a brand around something every household already produces for free every single morning. So the bait industry doesn't hide this information. They don't need to. They just sell something louder, packaged better, and more expensive. And most people never stop to look at what was sitting on their kitchen counter the whole time. That 82-year-old in Tennessee never needed them to tell him anything. Now, neither do you. Here's exactly how it works. What you need: used coffee grounds, any roast, any brand. Cost: $0. Damp soil near water, creekside, riverbank, the shaded edge of a lake or pond. A small Ziploc or paper bag to carry the grounds. Optional. A few drops of water if the ground is drier than ideal. Step 1. Find your spot. Look for dark, moist ground near the water. Under logs, along shaded banks, near flat rocks that hold moisture. Worms are already living there. You're just calling them up. Step 2. Spread the grounds. About half a cup over a 12-inch circle on the damp ground. Thin and even. Don't pile it. A thin spread activates a wider surface area of soil. This exact proportion is one of the methods in the full guide, alongside adjustments for different worm species and soil conditions. Step 3. Wait. On truly wet ground, 30 to 90 seconds. On slightly drier soil, up to 5 minutes. Don't dig. Don't disturb the spot. Just watch the ground. Step 4. Collect. They surface on their own. Pick them up gently and keep them in a container with a bit of the same moist soil. They'll stay lively for hours. One secret that pushes the results even further. Mix your grounds with 1 tablespoon of used black tea leaves before spreading. The tannins in black tea accelerate the pH shift. Worms come up faster and in higher numbers. Leftover grounds store fine in a Ziploc in the fridge for up to 2 weeks. Want to push it even further? Crushed dried oak leaves mixed in. The decomposition smell adds another layer of chemical signal that triggers worm movement. A pinch of cornmeal on top gives worms a reason to stay on the surface longer after they appear. Use these night crawlers whole, on a plain hook, no extra weight needed on a calm bank. Best window, dusk and dawn. Bass, catfish, and bluegill are most active in those hours, and a fresh, moving worm beats a fancy rig every single time. The one mistake that kills results is using too much at once. A half cup concentrated in a small patch outperforms a full pound scattered wide. Worms respond to concentration. Spread thin, you attract nothing. Focus it, and they come straight up. Now picture your next trip out. Everyone else stops at the gas station before the lake. spends $15 on a tub of worms sitting in refrigerated water since last week. You walk to the bank first, spread a handful of grounds you saved from this morning's pot, and in under 2 minutes, you've got more live bait than you need. Fresh, moving, lively. The kind of bait that actually catches fish. Your buddies are going to ask what you did differently. You decide if you tell them. Click now, get your access to high-level fishing, and let these strategies start transforming your next fishing trips. The link is in the first pinned comment. When you come back from the water applying what you learned, come back here and comment, "Caught more." That's your commitment to your own evolution in fishing. And maybe that's exactly the step that separates the stories you hear from the stories you're going to start telling. This knowledge was never lost. It just stopped being passed down. There's a difference. Lost means gone. Stopped being passed down means it's still here, waiting for whoever decides to go looking. That old man in Tennessee didn't invent anything. He just never forgot what the people before him already knew. Now you know it too. Subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss the next video.